Kia ora and welcome to the Master of Disaster Management webinar at the University of Auckland. My name is Sandika Manakara and I'm a senior lecturer in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering at the University of Auckland. I studied civil engineering at the University of Auckland myself and then proceeded to work as a structural engineer for a couple of years, after which I decided to come back to the university to pursue a PhD in disaster management. I specialized in post-disaster recovery, looking at the concept of building back better, and then worked as a research fellow for a couple of years at the university before starting my present academic career. So today we've got a couple of our old graduates from the Master of Disaster Management here with us. So we'd love for you to introduce yourselves today.
Thank you. So my name is Nora Jukic. I'm currently working as a disaster risk management and climate change adaptation consultant with the consulting company Haskoning. I work in the Pacific region for different kind of resilience strategies and adaptation plans. And I'm also currently doing my PhD here at the University of Auckland, well, with you, Sandika.
That's right. And then Sam.
Kia ora, I'm Sam, and I'm a civil engineer based in Whangarei in Northland. I work in the public works sector, looking to keep our infrastructure in Northland operating and open. I did the disaster management master's degree in 2018.
Amazing. The structure of the webinar will be simple. We'll discuss key information about the course, and then we'll hear from our guests to understand their postgraduate experience. This program is designed for both students and working professionals who are either already in the disaster management or humanitarian space or are looking to move into it. It's also well suited to anyone whose work is impacted by disasters directly or indirectly, and anyone who wants to better understand disaster risk reduction, disaster risk management, and disaster resilience. The program provides a holistic understanding of these important concepts, whilst also allowing students to explore areas that connect with their own interests, discipline, or professional background. The Master of Disaster Management is a flexible program that is offered as both a 120-point and 180-point degree. The 120-point program is for students who have already completed the equivalent of a full-time year of postgraduate study. The 120-point program usually takes 1 year of full-time study to complete, whilst the 180-point program takes 1.5 years. Students have to do 4 core courses, including a 45-point research project, which is completed over 2 semesters. The rest of the points are made up of elective courses that students can choose to suit their schedules and interests from engineering, population health, development studies, and law. One of the things that makes this program really distinctive and a favorite to teach is the students themselves. We attract disaster professionals and students from around the world, creating opportunities to build meaningful, long-term international networks. Past cohorts have remained closely connected, often continuing to collaborate and support one another across different regions and sectors. There is a strong focus on current and evolving issues in disaster risk and resilience, meaning the learning is grounded in real-world challenges and ongoing global debates. Much of the teaching is research-led, delivered by academics who are actively engaged in this field and contributing to advancing knowledge and practice. A highlight of the program is the research project, which provides an opportunity to explore a topic of interest in depth and contribute to addressing important gaps in disaster risk reduction and resilience. This allows students to connect their own backgrounds and passions with meaningful, impactful research. In recent years, increasing disaster events have highlighted the need for more specialized knowledge in this space, making this a highly relevant and in-demand area of study. What we teach is inherently people-focused, and graduates from this program go on to work across a wide range of sectors. These include roles in government agencies, civil defense and emergency management, the humanitarian sector, and policy and advisory positions. Typical career pathways include roles such as disaster risk reduction specialist, resilience or preparedness specialist, hazards analyst, and humanitarian field practitioner. The program also provides a strong foundation for those interested in further research, including progression to a PhD, particularly for those wanting to contribute to advancing knowledge and practice in disaster risk and resilience. Quite a few of our graduates, including Noura over here, have gone on to complete PhDs, including many at the University of Auckland. And it's been great to see some of them move on to academic careers as well. The Master of Disaster Management is currently offered in person at the University of Auckland's City campus. Students can start at the beginning of semester 1 or at the beginning of semester 2. Many of our international students from Asia and Pacific regions undertake this program through securing the Manaaki New Zealand Scholarship Program offered through the New Zealand Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Our website provides other information about scholarship options as well. So with that, let's come back to our guests to hear about their time with the program. So Noura, why did you study the Master of Disaster Management at the University of Auckland?
I think there was a couple of reasons. Before I did this master's degree, I had completed another master's degree in geography in Finland before moving here in New Zealand. And I had already worked a good decade in development work with resilience and sustainability topics. So I had that kind of a strong academic background and the practice, but I felt like I wasn't a specialist at anything. And I wanted to become a specialist at disaster risk management. And then I found this program and I thought it was a fantastic match to do what I wanted to do, become something else in my professional career, become a disaster management specialist. And so I did.
Wow. And what about you, Sam?
What I saw with the program that really appealed to me was that it would balance my civil engineering technical background with more of a social and broader perspective, where I felt like I could really help people and communities more than just with a technical lens that my engineering degree had to begin with.
So Sam, did you have any hesitation about pursuing further study, like doing a postgrad, especially after already having done a 4-year bachelor's?
Yeah, good question. So I took a couple years of work between completing my bachelor's degree before looking at further study. And that was really valuable to begin my professional career as an engineer and sort of understand what a career with the experience I had to date would offer. What drew me into doing that master's was the fact that it was a 1-year program and I could see very clearly where it could take my career further once I had that qualification and the experiences that the master would offer.
Right. Wow. And 2 masters, Noura. How did you make that choice after already completing 1 master's?
To start with, I just love studying. It comes quite naturally from me. It's not something that I've ever found as a chore. A little bit crazy like that. So it wasn't difficult in that terms. It was a great opportunity to study more. And similar to Sam, because I had already worked in this field and I had already identified the need for some extra specialty. So it was a quite easy decision to make at that point to have a bit better academic backing for that field of expertise. And clearly I like studying since then I went on and continued for the PhD.
Nice. And then could you, Noura, talk to me a little bit about the research project that you did for the Master of Disaster Management program and also how it may have led to your PhD?
Yeah, that was definitely one of the highlights of the whole program. So I was really interested already then about the role of local and traditional knowledge in disaster risk reduction and climate resilience work in the Pacific region, since that's where I have worked over the last couple of years in. And through my work, I have identified that there's some need to understand the connection between the theory and the practice in terms of using this local knowledge. So I did my whole research project as part of my master's program in the Cook Islands. The Cook Islands was my case study. And during the COVID times, I couldn't travel then. And I would say I became a bit hungry for the topic. And because I had spent so much time thinking about it and studying it as part of the master's program, I decided to continue actually that exact research project to my PhD. So that's what happened.
Wow.
And I think from what you touch on there, that practical aspect with your research topic was quite important to you. And I found it was the same for me. My research topic was focused on the Christchurch and Kaikoura earthquake recovery efforts and how construction practitioners, government agencies, and local council would all work together to rebuild. And being able to keep my engineering focus or my engineering cap on and go down there and talk to these professionals, the learnings I got from that and what I could feed back in terms of academic research was really valuable.
That would have been so rewarding. And I understand you're currently working in a similar space in recovery. So how did that research project help with that?
The central pillar of that research was how to speed up the recovery efforts, because as you know, there are a number of gates that you go through in the recovery process when it comes to rebuilding infrastructure, from funding, from partnerships with construction practitioners, from sourcing materials, working with designers. And because it's such a complex process, it can draw out for many, many years, as we've seen both locally and overseas. The work I do now in Northland, it follows a similar lens, but on a smaller scale. Thankfully, we haven't had the same size events hit us in Northland as earthquakes down in Christchurch, but we deal a lot with infrastructure recovery around our roading networks, our water networks, and in our urban environments. So looking at how to clear a road from a slip, or how to repair a wastewater network that's been damaged with flooding or intrusion of groundwater. It pulls on the similar research areas that I was able to study, and so I can bring that knowledge with me as I work through those projects.
Wow, that's such, yeah, that would be so rewarding. Yeah. And did you have any particular highlights in doing this Master of Disaster Management program?
Yeah, one particular highlight, which is a little bit unusual, was I actually got to meet my now wife through the program. She was also studying the program with a scholarship from the Philippines, and it was fantastic actually to share a year of studying with someone who started off as a great friend, and then have this relationship grow around a topic of study that we were both so passionate about.
Oh, that is so beautiful. So come join us to find love. And Nora, any highlights?
Oh, not like that. I did not find a husband during my degree, so
It wasn't planned.
can't compete with
Certainly
that.
wasn't the plan.
No, the highlight, as I mentioned, was definitely my research project, and the whole thinking how it evolved from small case study, realizing like, hey, there's something big here that I actually want to learn about and what I think I can contribute towards to, and kind of the transition from realizing like, hey, I think I can actually do something good with this piece of work, and then I managed to carry that over towards the PhD and hopefully completing it one day. Like that as a highlight, that was a massive moment in my life, I would say, that research project.
Wow. And now I understand the research, the PhD that you're doing now also feeds into the work that you're doing.
Yes, they go really hand in hand all the time. So as part of my work, what I do, I work in the Pacific Islands often with donor agencies providing different kind of advice for the climate change adaptation planning or different disaster resilience aspects. So my PhD topic, which came from the master's degree, is about looking how local and traditional knowledge and wisdom could be used as part of this kind of climate resilience and disaster risk reduction projects. And Cook Islands is my case study again, since I had some good networks there. So it is really everything that I'm learning in academia, and as part of this degree and my current research, I can use it in practice next day, if not the same day, at my work. So that is really special relationship there between the practice and academia that I get to practice every day.
And it must be so fulfilling to be able to not only travel to the islands and have that, I guess there's a bit of a leisure aspect because it's such a fantastic destination, but also feel like you're making such a positive impact to the community and the people who live there.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I feel like I have a lot of appreciation on how special those places are and why they deserve to be treasured, really, and deserve to have solutions that can make a difference. Yeah.
Definitely. A side tangent to that, the Cook Islands is a little bit special to me in an engineering sense because my grandfather was one of the project engineers that helped build the airport and the runway.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, in the Cook Islands.
Yeah. No,
in
it's a special
Rarotonga.
place.
So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's a fantastic place.
Yeah, so many connections. It's just wonderful to see. And especially with students coming from all over with different backgrounds and seeing how, everything connects together is such a wonderful experience, even facilitating and teaching this program. So I love it. Now, coming into balancing work with life, how did you balance study and work? Maybe Sam?
So I did the 1-year program, which meant it was full-time study. Because I also had an engineering career, which I didn't want to give up, I continued to work on a near full-time basis. And I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. It was a very busy year, and I was living at home through that period, which helped a lot as well, to come home to a cooked meal and such. But the program can be quite demanding, and you've got constant assignments and you've got your research that you've got to try and keep on top of through the year. So balancing all of that along with the university experience that you don't want to miss out on, it did make for a very full year, but also a fantastic time.
Right. And did you have any tips on how you managed to balance all those different things?
I would say try and work on assignments as early as possible.
I would agree.
I was quite fortunate that I also had the facilities of my my employer WSP to lean on with their office facilities, and so big monitors and screens, and I could work from there as well as the university. And so I was making progress on my assignments any time of day, any time of night, just trying to keep on top of things.
Wow. Just trying to make it work.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And what about you, Nora? How did you balance everything?
Yeah, so when I did my degree, it was part-time basis. I completed the course over 2 years, and I also continued working pretty much full-time throughout this whole period. So it was quite intense. For the time that I was doing my degree, it was COVID time, so there was a lot of online courses and online lectures. So that was actually made it easier for me to do it on top of a full-time position. So again, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. It's great to put that time aside in your life and really focus on the studies. Since the previous masters that I did and the degrees in my previous university, such a fun time to be a student. But now as a more, I guess, a bit older student who already had a career, which I wasn't ready to put aside for the time being that I was studying this degree. I think it was possible because of flexibility from my employer side, but also from the university, that there was quite a lot of understanding from the lecturers. And I could also quite often combine, for example, if there was an essay, I was working on some sort of assignment, that I did it from a topic that was relevant for work. So I could actually have these things going hand in hand often.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great tip.
Yeah.
Do you think the degree has been helpful to you academically or professionally? Maybe start with Sam.
Yeah, it certainly has been. It's given me a much broader perspective on some of the more social aspects of the work that I do within the engineering space. Quite often we can be focused in on the technical and not understand the broader complexities of the work that we're doing or the project that we're trying to address. I've been very fortunate in my role with WSP in Northland to be exposed to a number of regionally significant projects, and I don't think I would have been able to deliver the same professional capabilities that I would have without this degree. From raising stop banks to prevent flooding and inundation of people's homes and houses to restoring roading networks for communities, to even looking at future expansions of our city, Whangarei. I wouldn't be in the position I am now without this master's program.
Wow, wow. And what about you, Nora?
Yeah, definitely has been hugely valuable for my career. And as I mentioned before, everything that I learned at the lecture one day, I would put in practice the next day. So the connection was instant. The value was very visible in my everyday life at a time and still to this date. So yeah, as my aim when I started the program was to become a specialist, more targeted specialist at something at disaster risk management. So I would say that allowed me to really effectively achieve that target.
So the program has 2 core courses, which is disaster risk management and disaster resilience, along with the compulsory research project. But as I mentioned earlier, the students are able to take elective subjects from different faculties around the university. And I'm quite interested to know if you remember which electives you guys actually took.
Yeah, mine were under the development studies. So I think I did 2 courses under the development studies about development theory. And yeah, those were really, because my expertise and what I do is with development industry and in international development industry and with the donor agencies. So I felt like that was allowed me to package the degree really towards where I wanted to grow. So yeah, I was more on the social side of things. What about you?
I tried to have one foot in the camp of what I'm more familiar with. So I did a project management course. It's actually, I think, agile project management mostly, which is more geared towards quick decision making, software, fail fast and keep going, which you can't really do typically in engineering construction. I don't think they'd like that too much, but it was a fantastic course with really broad exposure, and I got a lot from that. I think I actually topped the class.
Nice.
The other course I took was in the policy space, which was an area that I had no exposure to previously. A part of me thought while I was doing the master's program, maybe I want to get into the humanitarian sector, and this course gave me that first impression of what that could be. And I really enjoyed that, and yeah, I could see my future at some stage shifting into that space.
Wow, yeah. And that's something that's quite unique about this master's degree, because although we host it from the Faculty of Engineering and Design, students are actually able to come from various different disciplines and also take these elective courses from all across the university. So you get a diverse range of experiences. So that's really exciting. So thank you for sharing your experiences. Nora, how did the master's program shape your confidence to apply for a PhD?
The encouragement really came from the department. While I was doing the research, I realized that this is actually something that hasn't been researched much before, and I could do something that hasn't been done before. So the inspiration came from that research project and from myself, but really the confidence came from the department, that there were lecturers like yourself who were reaching out and suggesting, like, what about we take the next step? And then that was kind of enough for me to be like, hey, I think that is not a bad idea. And it was a great idea. So yes, definitely the degree helped me to have the research skills and the confidence academically that PhD didn't seem like something that can't be achieved. But it took a little bit of encouragement at personal level from people like yourself, Sandika. So thank you for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
From what I felt as well with the program, the supervisors and lecturers were very supportive and made every effort to be available through the program as well, which really made the difference. You felt like they were on your side, they wanted you to succeed, and they gave you every opportunity to do so. I was fortunate enough to have Alice Chang Richards as my supervisor, and she was fantastic right from the start in connecting me for a scholarship, which really helped me get into the program to begin with. and then helping with my research throughout, as well as teaching the core courses.
Oh, that's really nice. That's lovely to hear. So, especially with this environment that we're facing with disasters being more and more frequent, I mean, we've just had some events recently as well. How do you think the Master of Disaster Management has prepared you to work in this space in terms of recovery and resilience and risk reduction and so on?
I think it's really helped me think more broadly about how we prepare for and respond to and then recover after from these big events. It's quite clear that we can't just continue to do the same thing we've done again and again and expect a better outcome to come from it. So the concept of building back better definitely applies within the engineering space. Through building back better and putting more resiliency into the infrastructure that we build, hopefully we find that these events that do occur don't actually become disasters. It's something that we can manage, and the impact is far less than it would have been.
Yeah, absolutely. Any change, any difference we can make is really important. What about you, Nora?
I think since understanding the whole cycle of disasters and understanding what frameworks there are, what can you draw to when you are coming up with a solution for a specific context, just having that theory base helps you then come up with context-specific solutions. So I notice every day at my work, for example, when I'm coming up with different kind of solutions for different kind of disaster resilience related problems, it helps me that I have that quite a strong academic background, that I know where to look for information, what kind of information is valuable, and how does it kind of fit into the frameworks that have been proven to be successful. So, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, it's a hugely evolving space, and we do our best to try and get that adaptive mindset so that students continue to keep learning, because clearly this is not something where we have solutions for. So it's a matter of learning to be adaptable and come up with solutions and figure things out. Well, it's been so lovely chatting to you both and hearing about your experiences. So thank you so much for sharing so openly. And I'm very happy to hear how well you are both doing in your careers post the program. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all for watching this webinar. If you have further questions, you can ask them through the Ask Auckland online support centre via the link in the description box. This master's program is highly relevant in today's climate, as you would have seen from the conversations we've had today. So if you want to follow your calling just like our guests today, we'd love to have you join us.